Are Israel's ties with Syria and Saudi Arabia back to normal? Donald Trump hosted Benjamin Netanyahu in Florida for a high-stakes meeting amid simmering tensions in the Middle East after the Israeli forces struck Damascus town of Beit Jinn last month.
We do have an understanding regarding Syria. Now, with Syria, your new president, I respect him. He's a very strong guy, and that's what you need in Syria. You can't put a choir boy, you can't put somebody that's a perfect person. Everything's nice, no problems in life. You have the opposite there. He's a strong guy. We get along with him great. I can't ask for any more. He's been with us all the way. We had that mishap with ISIS, and he was with us all the way. He was fighting us. He was fighting them. So I hope Israel, I'm sure that Israel and him will get along. I will try and make it so that they do get along. I think they will. Bibi, do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, well, our interest is to have a peaceful border with Syria. Our interest is to have, and we openly say it, we want to make sure that the border area right next to our border is safe. We don't have terrorists, we don't have attacks, and we also want to secure our Druze friends. And by the way, I think not only the Druze, but other minorities, especially the Christians, should be protected as well in Syria and throughout the Middle East and in Nigeria. In your efforts, we back completely because Christian communities are beleaguered around the world and especially in the Middle East, but in parts of Africa too. And we stand for the same thing.
Israeli troops raided Beit Jinn, seeking to capture, they claimed, members of a militant group planning attacks into Israel. Israel said militants opened fire at the troops, wounding 6, and that troops returned fire. The Israeli strike also drew condemnation from Saudi Arabia. Riyadh warned Washington that Israel's continued airstrikes, incursions, and territorial expansion inside Syria are actively damaging any chance of normalization.
Can you tell us something about your plan to expand the Abraham Accords?
Well, the Abraham Accords are great. It was a great achievement of Jared and everybody. I mean, it was one of the great achievements. They'll be expanded. Countries are already talking about expanding it, and they'll be expanded fairly quickly. Yeah, please.
What about Saudi Arabia? Is it still on the table? The normalization?
Saudi Arabia is great. We have a great leader, and a friend of mine and a friend of a lot of people. Also an enemy of some people, but those people aren't doing so well. No, Saudi Arabia has been very good as far as I'm concerned. They've done everything that we can ask for.
But normalization with Israel is on the
They're
table?
getting along great with Israel. They will. And at some point they'll sign the Abraham Accords.
Behind closed doors, far from the battlefield, a quiet diplomatic gamble is underway in the Middle East. Russia, once the military lifeline of the Shah Assad, is now emerging as a power broker again, this time mediating a security pact between Israel and Syria, and it's happening with US approval. According to Israeli broadcaster Kan, Moscow is working discreetly with Damascus, seeking to restore influence lost after the fall of the Assad regime in December 2024. Russian forces are returning, military equipment is being redeployed, and Latakia, once a symbol of retreat, is back on the map. The goal? To stabilize southern Syria. Russia wants Syrian army units back near Israel's border, a return to the pre-collapse order. Israel, however, has a different demand: complete demilitarization of southern Syria. Yet even here, calculations run deep. Israeli officials say they would rather see Russian troops on that frontier than allow Turkey to expand its influence, a red line for Tel Aviv. Turkey, after all, backed the opposition that toppled Assad and continues to support Syria's new leadership. The talks are fragile, the gaps remain wide, but for the first time in years, officials say, some progress has been made. All eyes now turn to Mar-a-Lago. Syria is expected to be a central topic when US President Donald Trump meets Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu later this month. Trump has taken a notably softer line on Syria's new president, Ahmed al-Sharaa, even agreeing to lift key Caesar Act sanctions. Israel objected. Washington refused. Trump is now expected to push Netanyahu to give Syria's new leadership another chance and pursue a security deal.
The leader of Syria you had earlier, did you come to any agreements today?
Well, I've had an agreement with him. He's a very strong leader. He comes from a very tough place, and he's a tough guy. I liked him. I get along with him, the new president of Syria. And we'll do everything we can to make Syria successful, because that's part of the Middle East. We have peace now in the Middle East, first time that anyone can remember that ever happening. And as you know, Syria is a very big part of the Middle East, very important part. If you look back at Syria for years, they had the doctors, the lawyers, they had so many of the great intellects. It's an amazing place with great people. And we want to see Syria be successful along with the rest of the Middle East. So I have confidence that he'll be able to do the job, absolutely.
Can we expect an announcement on a pact between Syria and Israel, or an announcement on them joining the end to ISIS?
Yeah, you can expect some announcements on Syria. We want to see Syria become a country that's very successful, and I think this leader can do it. I really do. I think this leader can do it. And people said he's had a rough past. We've all had rough pasts. But he has had a rough past, and I think, frankly, if you didn't have a rough past, you wouldn't have a chance. He gets along very well with Turkey, with President Erdogan, who's a great leader. Erdogan's a great leader, and very much in favor of what's happening in Syria. We have to make Syria work. Syria is a big part of the Middle East, and I will tell you, I think it is working, and really well. We're working also with Israel on, getting along with Syria, getting along with everybody.
Saudi Arabia is losing patience. Riyadh has warned Washington that Israel's continued airstrikes, incursions and territorial expansion inside Syria are actively damaging any chance of normalisation. A Saudi royal official put it bluntly. Israel, they believe, does not want a stable Syria. It wants a divided one. And that belief is reshaping diplomacy. Saudi Arabia already ties normalization to a Palestinian state. Now southern Syria has entered the equation. Israel's actions in Syria, Lebanon and the West Bank, Saudi officials say, signal a preference for war, not peace. And that message has been delivered directly to the United States. As Russia mediates, America pressures, and Saudi Arabia draws new red lines, the region stands at a crossroads. A security deal could cool one of the Middle East's oldest front lines, or it could expose a deeper truth, that the race for control, influence and territory is far from over.